Good morning students. Today we are going to discuss about the topic mining sequence pattern in biological data. So what are the factors that is led for the development of the biological data? That is, from the past decades we have seen that there is a explosive growth in the biomedical research, and we have seen that the development in the new pharmaceutical and advance in the cancer therapies, and there is an analysis of investigating in the genetic networks. So like this biological data has been come into the mining the patterns. So in the mining the patterns for the biological data, we use the DNA structure. So DNA sequence form the fundamental of the genetic codes of all living organisms. So DNA sequences are comprised of four basic building blocks which are called as nucleoids. So nucleoids are likely like adenine, cytosine, guanine and thymine. There are four nucleides and combine to form long chains resembled as a twisted ladder like this. Similar to this particular ladder, you can see these four nucleides becomes the basis. Then we come to what is meant by a DNA sequence. So DNA sequence can be the sequences that you can see CTA, CAC and so on. Like this you can see number of sequences, and a gene is usually comprised of 100 of individual nucleoids arranged in a particular order. So this genome is complete set of genes. So genome is the complete set of genes in the organism, and genomic is the analysis of the genome sequences. And protein is the complete set of protein molecules present in the cell, tissue or an organism. So you can see there is a molecule or a in which cell you see the number of nucleoids in which the chromosomes are there, and here in the chromosome whenever you go deep into it, when the wire like structure, there's internally you have number of histros where you have the DNA sequence in this in a form of a helix manner. So proteomic is the study of a proteome sequences. So we have seen why we are going for the bioinformatics. So biological knowledge is very complex. It is in a form of a descriptive and experimental manner, so imprecise. So we have very much abundant data and information rich data. This geomic and proteomics data is in a form of a sequences, and huge data banks, rich literature and open accessible, and largest and richest scientific data sets in the world. So all this biome information is used for not only for one particular reason, but we have the curing of the diseases by taking the pharmaceutical, the sequences that are being done is how the is effective to the person on this particular person will be given. There are number of applications related to the biological knowledge. And coming to the how we extract the information from that mining, by using the correlation, mining from the correlation, the linkages between the disease and the gene sequences, and protein network classification, clustering, outlier, so on. We have do the number of uh, information gained from the data. So we have the research and development has been a new tool for bioinformatics, where you are going to find out using the frequent patterns, using the similarity search or comparison between the classes of genes, that is the differences between the diseased and the healthy person. There are number of classes where you are going to compare the frequent patterns. Then you find out the sequential patterns, how the various diseases or viruses have the similar patterns, how they are integrated and finally forming to and another virus. Like this we can see the patterns. Then we can have clustering and classification methods, where you can see microarray or a protein array data analysis. Then you have the linking of genes and proteins to the different disease development stages, where the pharmaceutical are targeting for the different stages separately. Then you have the high dimensional analysis and OLAP mining and visualization tool for genetic and proteomic data analysis. So mining the particular pattern in the biological data is nothing but we can mine the data using the pairwise biological sequence or multiple sequences. That means you have the data sequence which may be having the small sequences, or you may have large sequences. So we can compare particular sequences. So we need to have the alignment. So based upon the alignment of that particular sequence, we may find out whether the sequences are similar or not. So what is meant by an alignment? So when we take two or more input biological sequences, you identify the similar sequences, and also you will check for the subsequences. So generally alignments are of two types. One is the pairwise sequence alignment and the multiple sequence alignment. So in the nucleoids, two symbols align if they are identical, and in amino acids they align if they are identical and one may be derived from the other. So you also have the local alignment versus global alignment. So we using the matrix, substitution matrix, we represent the probability of that particular substitution matrix, and we are going to score that particular alignment and calculate the data. So if the more aligned, if more number of percent of the value is aligned, we get more number of score. So what is the need of the alignment? That means why we are going for this alignment. That is, whenever you take two sequences, if they are same or if they are similar, then if they share the same ancestor, then the alignment will be possible or similarity will be existing. So that which we can say as a homologous. So what is the degree of similarity? How much is the similarity between the two particular sequences that we take? So that is determined by the homology and helps to construct the evolution of a tree or phylogenetic tree. Then coming to the first method, that is pairwise sequence alignment. Here is an example where you have given a set of two sequences, and these two sequences are arranged in two different formats. So we are going to calculate these two sequences and we are going to see which is scoring more or which is better one. So based on that, we are going to score using the PAM, that is percentage accepted mutation or block substitution matrix, and calculate the matches and mismatches considering the amino acid substitution. And we also have the gap penalty. So you have number of gaps over here. So these gaps are given by the gap penalty or gap extension penalty. So by taking the values for the gap penalty and gap extension, when you have the certain data of a substitution matrix and we have given the alignment to be done, so we are going to find out the scores. So to while calculating H compared to the gap, so since there is a gap, we add as a gap penalty as -8. Now since there is another extension, we have the extension penalty as -8, so we apply -8 over here. Then coming to A and P, so A and P leads to -1, so we write here -1. Similarly, we have a gap over here, then we write -8. Then AA is 5, so we write 5. Then WW, so W is 15, so we write 15. Again we have a gap, so write -8, and so on. We do the same thing. So H comma H, it is 10. Then E comma E, that is 6. Then again you have a gap, so gap penalty as -8. Then E comma E as a 6. So finally you will get the value as 1. So while calculating for this particular pair sequence, we are going to get this particular value. Now similarly, we are going to find out for this particular sequence also. So whichever gives the more value, that particular score value will be said that more similarity is existing. So we are going to have the multiple sequence models by using the hidden Markov model. So in the multiple sequence alignment, what is the goal of finding is, when we are having a large set of sequence values, then we are going to find out the using this Markov model. So we need to find out the common pattern considering certain sequences. So why we are using is, we need to build a gene or a protein family, or identify the amino acids that are essentially sites for structure and function, and more complex pairwise alignment, and use of the multi-dimensional alignment and approximate alignment. For this, we have a series of pairwise alignment you can do by French two little alignment, or compute all possible pairwise alignment by dynamic programming, or you may also use the multiple sequence alignment using the hidden Markov model. So we need to know what is a Markov chain. So Markov chain is nothing but the probability of symbols depends only on the previous symbol Markov chain model. So generally we have the states and the transitions, and we need to probability for the particular sequence that is being given. So whenever the state is being given, we can say that the probability of that particular sequence may exist. So if the sequence is given, how much is the probability of the total sequence exist using the states and the transitions. So using this particular formula, that is probability of x, that is sequences where the sequence will lie from x1 to xl, then the probability of xl by xl minus 1. So every time the probability of xl will only depend upon the previous value, that is xl minus 1. So every state you take a probability, that particular transition probability will only lie upon the, or whenever you take a sequence probability, that particular sequence probability only lie between upon the previous probability that is there. So xl, which is depending on xl minus 1, where xl minus 1 is only depending on xl minus 2. Similarly, x2 will only depend upon x1, and so on. Xn, x1, which is an initial probability if you take, will only depend upon the 0. So that means all these probabilities are taken in summation, and then you can say this is the probability that is there for the sequences. So this particular formula can be generalized and can be written in this particular format. Then Markov model can be used for the classification to distinguish the CpG island from the other using the training set by using two models. One is the plus and the other is minus, and given sequence of particular sequence which are positive values, and the probability of sequence finding with the negative values, and these are estimated using the training sequences. For example, if you take a Markov chain model, we begin with a path like given as C, G, G and T, probability of finding C, G, G, T. So whenever you begin with particular chain, then we are going for the first node, first state, that is C. So the probability of the C, so we don't have any previous node, so we are not taking the data related to the previous node. So this becomes the initial node values or initial probability values. Then we are going to find out the probability of the next state, that is G, which is only dependent on the previous state, that is C. Then we are going to find out the probability of the G, which is next dependent on the previous G value. And finally, we are finding the probability of the next value as T, next sequence value as T, which is dependent on the previous value G. So finding the path in this manner, and once you are getting the probability, this particular cost is being estimated. So whenever you say CpG island, so CpG island is standing for cytosine and guanine separated by a phosphate which links two nucleosides together in a DNA. So whenever you take the DNA, you can can observe that it is having the CpG islands with a positive and a negative, and these are as stands for cytosine, guanine and separated by a phosphate link. So these diclinonucleases are often written as CpG to avoid the confusion between the base pair C and G. Then we are going to predict the CpG islands by Markov chain. So only one to represent CpG islands and one to represent the rest of the genome. So coming to the Markov chains, so if you want to distinguish these CpG islands with some other regions, sequence regions, so we have to give the sequences that belongs to CpG islands and not belonging to CpG islands. That you can do by modeling the CpG islands and null value with the other values. So how do you score that particular value? Is taking the log probability of the CpG model and also the null model. So when you calculate the score values based upon CpG model and null model, so we use a Bayes theorem. So here Bayes theorem will evaluated like, so this is a formula where you are going to apply in the form of a Bayes rule. So probability of X of CpG and probability of CpG by probability of X. And here the null other region values are calculated by probability of X by null by probability of null by P of X. Probability of X. So if you are not taking the probabilities of two classes, we can compare only the values that are under the numerators. Then coming to the hidden Markov model. So we need to find out in the hidden Markov model, generally whenever you take the states, there are certain transition probabilities and there are also hidden probabilities that may exist in these particular states. So we are going to find out the transition probabilities and two Markov chains that are there, and we are going to find out using the hidden Markov model that there is, whenever you take the Markov chain, there you have the state and transition model. Here we have the emission probability for the each state also. So like this we can observe that whenever you find out the state that is A, G, G, T is the sequence. So we need to find out the hidden Markov model for this particular sequence. So we can say a given observed sequence. So we are going to follow the observed sequence, that is every state will given an observed value. With that you have a transition values which is said to be the emit value or emission values, and transition values as well as the state values are given. Using that formula, using that we are going to use the particular formula like transition probability of the emission values of P by the phi of n of L to the L to the K. That means if you are taking the state values which are starting with L values, and that is the previous value is equal to K value, and the probability transition of state K of state L, the emission probability of the probability is nothing but at symbol K, the emission probability, that is previous K state, the emission probability is probability of xi equal to b by pi of I of k. This probability of emitting character is that in the state. So when you take an example over here, you can see that every state is given their own state values as well as the emission values and also the transition values. So based upon the state values, emission values and the state, we are going to find out using the method like forward algorithm based on the Vert-TB algorithm or forward backward algorithm. So forward algorithm will determine the probabilities that are obtained in the model. So if you are given a particular sequences, we need to determine the probability. So using the forward algorithm, we can find out the probability of that particular sequences. If you want to check the most probable path that has to be there in the sequence, it is used by the Vert-TB algorithm. If you are taking a model and a set of training sequences, then you need to find out the model parameters, and that is what are the transition and emission probabilities that can be applied is given by the forward backward algorithm. which is given by Baum-Welch. So this is a sequence where you are going to use in the forward algorithm. So whenever you take the example like this, so the probability that the path is taken and the sequence is generated. So since we have the sequences of states from x1 to xl, and we have the values which is phi naught to phi n, then we can calculate using this particular sequence AAC of pi. So we have A naught 0 1 into E1, A01, that is from beginning of the state 0 to 1, we are finding the value of that particular that is 0.5. Then we are going to find out the emitted value of A. So emission value of that particular state values, that is nothing but 0.4. Now coming to the next one, that is we have the next sequence as A again. So again we can take the value as 0.2, which is furtherly given as sequence as when it is being occurred as path. So 0.2 into 0.4. Then coming to the next path, that is C. So C here is nothing but 3. So A13, so that is C is nothing but 0.3. So 013, the transition probability is 0.8 into 0.3, and 35, which is ending point, where you can have a probability of 0.6. Like this you are going to form the count of that particular value measure. So likewise we are going to find out the probability of all the paths, and we can say the number of paths can be exponential to the length of the sequence. The probability is that is the forward algorithm enable us to compute this efficiently. So the forward algorithm is defined as, that is to define f of k to be the probability of being in the state k having observed the first I characters of sequence x. To compute the particular Fn of L, the probability of being in the end state is having observed by all sequence of x can be defined this recursively using the dynamic programming. So once that is a state of sequences are given and set of the all the probabilities are given, we can find using the forward algorithm. The next coming to, if you are finding out the next VertiB algorithm, the VertiB algorithm is a formula where you need to find out even the subsequences that are lying. So whenever you take the probability of, suppose if there is a probability for sequences x1, x2, x3 and so on till xn, and you have the pi values, that is the transition probabilities are given pi 1, pi 2 and so on. Now these particular states, whenever you given from x1 to xn, then you can write down these values is every time the probability values always depend upon that, that is xi value will always depend upon the xi minus 1 value. Now similarly, when you are taking this, there is a number of probabilities like x1, x2, x on so on till xn minus 1, then xn and xn plus 1 and so on, and you have the state values where you are going to take, and s0, s2 and so on till, suppose if I take sp to sq values. Now every time when I take this x1 values till xn minus 1 value, you can calculate using the state value of sp, and this particular values xn is again furtherly divided to until these values are again divided to x1. So x1 will have again the 0 comma 0th value, 0th comma 1 value, 0th comma 2 value, so on till 0th comma n value. That means all the subsequences that are existing internally. So when you take the whole value here, the xn value will internally depend upon all the subsequence that are underlying between x1 and so on till xn minus 1 of that particular state probability, and this particular value x1 will again furtherly divided to internally as 0 comma 0 till 20n values, which lead to x1 value. So these are the internal states that are like subsequence that are existing. So it depends upon all that subsequences. So we are going to write this using the method. So whenever you are taking the f naught value is of 0 as equal to 1, that is a starting state, then all other values, suppose this particular value as the starting state, S naught value as a starting state, all other values are becoming the other states which are represented as 0. Now for emitting the state values, that is 1 to L or here 0 to P. Now if we are giving the Fi value, that is values, that is EI emitted value of I into Fk I minus 1. So I said like SP values into the values, the summation of all the values that are existing from xi to xn minus 1 here. So we are going to find out the values which are nothing but the SQ values, which is nothing but the xn values of that particular values. So when you extend, so xq values and xn values will be furtherly given by the subsequences which are from x1 to xn minus 1, and sq value will be obtained from sp. So this can be written in this manner. So here we have given a particular sequence TA and GA. So we can begin with 0 and we are given the transition as A. So 0.5 A, that is 0.4 again. Then GA. So here we have taken as the values like A, D, C, T, A, G, C, T. So using that adenine, cytosine, guanine and thymine, we are going to apply this particular sequence. So adenine, first we are going for thymine, then going for the adenine, then for the guanine and again to the adenine. So like this we can find out using the computation, like F naught initially equal to 1. So F1 will be equal to 0 till all the states all they becomes 0. Then we are going to find out the sequence for F1. Then the initial value, that is thymine, that is 0.3. So when you observe here, we are going to have the thymine value 0.3. Then F naught value 1 into the values that are there, that is 0.5, and 0 into, since F naught value is 1 over here, we are putting 1 over here, and 0.5 is A01. A01 is, that is once we begin the start. So here we have a transition value as 0.5. So we write 0.5. Then other all values are into zeros. So 0 into 0.2, which leads and gives the 0.15. Then we are going to find out the F2 of 1. Then here also we are going to find out using the A as 0.4, that is adenine 0.4 after that. So once T is finished, we go for A. So 0.4 0.4, again 1 into 0.5 and 0.08. So like this we are going to find out the probability of TAGA, that is F5 into 4, which is equal to F3 of 4 into A35, all these values. So always the probabilities are found out using whenever the sequence is given. So the initial state becomes the initial values and all other values will furtherly depend upon the previous states. So the most probable path is generated using the Vertibi algorithm. So using this Vertibi algorithm, here if we are giving the probabilities of most probable path. So this is the algorithm related to Vertibi. So we are defining the probabilities of the most probable path for the first I characters of x and ending with state k. And if you want to compute the L value, that is in the ith values, that is in the path, we are going to find the Lth value. Then the probability of most probable path accounting of all the sequences. So previous sequences that are existing and ending in the end state and the last state that we are going to calculate. So this is done recursively and you can find out the values that is given for the probable path of L. Then coming to the last model, that is the algorithm used to find out the transition and emission probabilities. So how can we learn the HMM parameters given a set of sequences? So learning without the hidden states. So learning simply we can find out the correct path for the sequence in the training set. If a training set is given a particular sequence, then finally we can easily find out the particular path. Then estimating the parameters by counting the number of times the each parameter is used to across the training set. So if at all this particular path is given, we are going to find out how many times that particular parameters are coming by counting the number of parameters are across that particular training set. If there is no with hidden states and there is no correct path, then we are going to find out all possible paths of the sequence and we are going to estimate the parameter using certain procedures that count the expected number of times for each parameters used to across the training set. So how many times that particular parameter are coming, so we are going to calculate for all the paths that is possible in that particular diagram. Then coming to the learning parameters, that is how we are going to find out using the Baum-Wedge algorithm. So here we are saying this algorithm can be said as forward-backward algorithm, and this algorithm uses the expectation maximization algorithm. So the maximum values that are expected from this particular values, we say it as that. And every time we are going to suppose if you have the function values of 0 comma 0, 0 comma 1, 0 comma 2 and so on. Now the function values which may occur, the expected values as 1 comma 0 or 2 comma 0, 2 comma 3 comma 0 and 4 comma 0 if suppose 0 comma 3. Now here you can say 0 comma 1, which may again give the values as 2 comma 1, 3 comma, okay, anyhow 2 comma 0 or 3 comma. So this is the values which are given as an input and here is the values we are expecting to have, that is 1 comma 0 or 1 comma 1, 1 comma 2, 1 comma 3 are the values that we want to achieve. So these becomes an input values and this becomes an output values which we are expecting to get that values. So we are going to adjust the parameters and reduce that particular using the errors or the training set sequences, and we are going to emit this particular final expected values. So this is what done in the expectation maximization probabilities. So all the hidden states is a part that best explains the each training sequences. Thank you.